Mike Kern here with Adam Emmenecker for another Shootaround segment, and lots to talk about here as we head towards the very end of the season. We've got about 6 or 7 games left for most teams. A little bit of a separation in the standings as we head down the home stretch. If you could address that a little bit.
Yeah, you know, what's funny, Mike, you have your preseason poll, and very often the preseason poll isn't very accurate. Well, I mean, how about this year? The preseason top 4 is the midseason top 4. So we'll see how that continues to shake out. But you see Loyola and Drake at the top, just like you might have expected, and then hanging close, a really tough Missouri State team, and then a Northern Iowa team probably playing their best basketball of the year. And throughout the conference season, we've seen a pretty tight parity across the games. We've talked a lot about the number of close games in the league. That has started to normalize a little bit more. We don't have as many 1 or 2 point games, but still 50% of the games 5 points or less. It's been pretty impressive and pretty fun as usual.
Yeah, one of the teams that was, of course, picked high in the standing was our preseason favorite, Drake. And talk a little bit about what you think about the Bulldogs. You see them an awful lot, so talk a little bit about Drake for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny what 4 years under Darren DeVries can do. This is a team 17-6, and you might even say it's been a slight underperformance with this group, and that's just because the expectations are so high coming off the NCAA tournament win. They're starting to get healthy, but and this group is just, they're tough as nails. They know how to win. The leading freshman of the year candidate, Tucker DeVries, newcomer of the week this week in the Valley, just brings an added dimension to this group with his ability to score and shoot the basketball and just play make, fit into that group just seamlessly. And a big time shout out for Drake for Garrett Sturtz. I mean, even as a true freshman walk on, he earned minutes for closing time for this group. And now here he is in his 4th year, averaging over 11 in a game, 2nd in the conference in rebounds per game at just 6'3". He's the consummate teammate, has an exceptional basketball IQ, and just a relentless motor. Garrett Sturtz, great teammate, really fun to watch.
You talked about the team that's 2 hours just northeast of Drake, and Ben Jacobson's got them pointed in the right direction. They're only a game out of first, headed down the stretch.
Yeah, winners of 3 in a row, and as I mentioned, playing as well as they have all year. So coming off a convincing win too over Bradley this week, 20 points, and a tough test now on Saturday, trying to avenge that loss to Drake. This group started 4-7, and I think there were a lot of people across the league trying to figure out what's the direction of this Panther group. And coming off that Christmas trip to Hawaii, a couple losses, didn't play great. They did have that one big non-conference win against St. Bonaventure, 16th at the time, who looked like one of the hottest teams in the country, to be honest, but playing much better basketball, getting back to that Ben Jacobson brand. AJ Green leads this crew, 18 a game. You know he's going to score, but they've started to get more of that consistent production. Nate Heisey's been a pretty consistent number 2. We've seen better games recently from Trey Burhow and Bowen Bourne. This is a group that's seasoned. They know how to play, and especially when they're knocking down shots, they're dangerous for anybody in the Valley.
And you mentioned key matchups this weekend. We just talked about Drake and Northern Iowa. They play on Saturday. Loyola, Missouri State playing on Sunday. Really important games as they're both playing for the 2nd time this year. And the team that, could sweep those gets a big hand up.
Yeah, and gets the opportunity at home, right? So Drake has already beaten UNI, Northern Iowa coming to the Knapp Center, and Loyola, who lost at Gentile, first lost in Gentile in conference play in a while, to Missouri State. Now Missouri State gets to host. So a big one for those two. The other matchup that I'm going to keep a pretty close eye on, Mike, Southern Illinois trying to entrench themselves in that 6th spot. They play a banged up but feisty Illinois State squad on the road. That'll be a good one for Coach Brian Mullins to see if he can get his team playing better in the second half.
A lot of key rivalry games this weekend, and we're looking forward to a nice stretch run for all the teams, but we'll talk to you sometime next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike.